So Vicky's got the story. This is Jim's daughter, Kate. It'd be Ed's sister. She was 17 years old when Ed was killed in 1907, her brother. And I visited her in
1979.
Yeah, in Middletown, Ohio, and she was like 90 or 90 some years old then. So she's telling this story about it.
Ready?
Ready.
Do you remember when your brother Ed was killed? No, I sure don't. I mean, do you remember how it happened and all that? Well, I remember how it happened, and I hate to tell you. Andy was a-going with a married woman. He was. Yes, he went with her, and they wouldn't get married, and she turned in and married someone else. Thought she'd spite my brother. Well, my brother didn't want her.
Here's Ed and Andy, Vicky. Ed was killed, and Andy's his brother, Jim's son.
You mean she wasn't married at the time she was engaged, going to be married? Yes, but she went with him after she was married. Oh, she was going with him and kept writing to my brother Andy. That was the cause of my brother Ed's death. She wrote and told Andy to meet her at a certain place, this married woman did. My brother Ed told his friend about it, and then he told some of her people. They killed him over that. My brother was just as innocent as you are of going with some married woman right now. He never would have thought, he didn't believe in that. But my oldest brother, Andy, he done wrong. He knew she was married. How did they happen to meet up with Ed? Well, my brother Ed had a mill where you grind cornmeal. He had that mill, and he had worked all day that day. He had a girlfriend, and he was going to see her that night at Sandy Hook. He was going to go see her, and he had bought her, that was when they used those feather fans, and he had bought her a fan to take to her. He stopped in the store. He told somebody in there about my brother getting word from this married woman, and they went right and told her people, and her husband and her brother killed my brother Ed. They did. They put out a $5,000 reward for them, but they skipped out during the night, and they never seen or heard tell of. Those two men? Yeah, the ones that killed my brother. One of them wrote back to some of their people and said, Ed Porter walks with me of a day and sleeps with me every night. His conscience. They got away, and they never did get him, and they never did come back to that country. Who were the two men? Well, one of them was a Schemes, and her father was a minister. This girl that my brother Andy was going with. Her father was a minister and a Sunday school teacher. When they shot him, seemed like he just couldn't get saved, and they sent for this girl's father to come and pray for him. Now this would have been the father of the man that shot him, right?
I think so.
He come to pray for him, and he said, Ed, what's the trouble? Ed said, well, Mr. Schemes, it's hard to say. Now I was right there, and I heard this. It's hard to say that you love the man that takes your life, he said. Well, you have to say it. And he looked up and said, Lord, I love everybody. And he was saved right then. I do remember that part of it. I held his hand till the last breath left him. I was holding his hand on one side of the bed, and your dad was on the other side. Kate was speaking to Dale Porter, Bill Porter's son. We both held his hand till he died. You say they shot him? Yeah, they shot him. They shot him, then one of them tried to cut his throat with a knife. He lived after that then? Oh, yes, he lived. Like I said, he had to get saved. So he lived till he got saved. That would be hard to say you loved the man that took your life. That would be hard to say. He told this girl's father that. He said, Ed, you have to say it. Ed looked up and prayed, Lord, I love everybody. He didn't any more than get that word out of his mouth, and he was saved, and he meant it. He did. He had to in order to get right with the Lord, but he died happy. He was just about 20 when he died. I really don't know his age. He was more than 20. He had taught 2 schools. I imagine he was teaching school when we continue. That's it.
So it was Andy's fault.
Yeah.
I remember Andy.
Do you?
Oh yeah. He used to buy cattle and come to our house and buy cattle.
Oh, yeah?
Andy went to join the Masons once. He got there and it's all down. And he said, if this is what it is, I've been one all my life. He never did go back. But now, he probably went to a bad place. Because that ain't what the Mason's all about.
Right. He went to the wrong group of Masons.
Wrong group, yeah.